Albert Einstein once stated, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing time and time again and expecting a different result." That, ladies and gentlemen, is Boris Johnson, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Parliament. 650 MPs that are going insane.
To a new Tier 4, which will be broadly equivalent to the national restrictions which were in place in England in November. That means residents in those areas must stay at home, apart from limited exemptions set out in law. Non-essential retail, indoor gyms and leisure facilities and personal care services must close. People must work from home if they can, but may travel to work if this is not possible, for example, in the construction and manufacturing sectors.
The really scary part of everything that's happening today and ever since the start of the year is that there is a percentage of our population, fuck me, there's a percentage of our world that actually believe that all these lockdowns are actually doing some good. They're not actually looking at what's happening to the people that are being affected by the lockdowns because they don't seem to care. If you turn around to any one of these individuals and you state that somehow lockdowns are a bad idea, they will state to you that somehow you're killing grannies. At the start of the year when we had our first lockdown, I was all for it. Seriously, I was all for it. I didn't know what was going on. Didn't seem like the government did, and it doesn't seem like the government does right now, to be fair, but let's not go into that. But it didn't seem like anyone knew what this virus was. So having that lockdown, I thought was perfect because it was protecting the majority of the people of our country. However, ever since then, we've realised, every sort of common sense person would realise, any scientific person would actually understand, even the WHO had actually stated that lockdowns don't work. However, since the first lockdown, we've had part lockdowns, we've had full lockdowns, we've had partly lockdowns, and now we're going into not Christmas because, well, maybe we're going to kill Granny again, or maybe we're going to kill the ill again, because this COVID situation has now turned into another COVID situation where this COVID doesn't actually kill the same sort of amount of people at the start of the COVID situation. That's at the start of the year, but we're still going to close down Christmas, and you're not going to be able to play board games and not be able to see your family just for the fact that, well, COVID. So what happens to a population when they start to realise that the government have become almost tyrannical, authoritarian, and wanting to take away your freedoms, and wanting to take away the right to actually go and see your family, your mother, your father, your grandparents, people that you haven't seen all year round and must be in the doldrums considering what's happening to our country? What do people do when that happens? The British people done what they should have done. They've actually shown the government by literally walking to different parts of the country that are maybe tier 1, tier 2, or maybe even tier 3. They've shown the government time and time again that they do not believe in these restrictions, and they would not abide by these restrictions. You see, the British people will take so much. It will take an absolute beating. But there will come a time when people have just had enough because they can see you're talking rubbish, Boris.
I'm here at London Euston train station, which is one of the main transport hubs for taking people to the north of England from London. It's pretty packed tonight, and the reason is Boris Johnson is going to put London into tier 4 of lockdown restrictions as of midnight, which means that people won't be able to leave the city and they won't be able to mix for Christmas. That means that a lot of people are trying to escape before midnight in order to see their relatives.
You know, Boris Johnson first started off this pandemic by stating he is going to follow the science. And I've got to be honest with you, he is. However, he's following the science probably with about 10 people. He doesn't want to listen to anyone else. It's almost like he's in a bubble. Is that London bubble that I keep talking about? Probably. He doesn't want to talk about any other experts. When the experts give him the information, send them the details, send them videos of what they're actually talking about. Somehow they're wrong and Sage are correct. Even though Sage have been incorrect on many occasions, even going on TV and been proven wrong within 24 hours, if not 12. So you need to ask yourself why Boris Johnson is still following Sage, even though they've been given incorrect details for the last, year now. What we have, ladies and gentlemen, is a government that is unable to govern, Boris Johnson who is unable to lead, and an opposition that are literally not an opposition.
A third lockdown.
Okay, which the Labour Party will happily vote for.
Well, not happily.
Let's £100 to charity. Wherever the next lockdown is announced, you and the rest of the Labour front bench will happily vote for another lockdown. Without seeing any evidence that it'll work. You will vote for it, won't you?
If that is what is proposed,
yep.
We will consider it. We'll consider the details. We'll consider the infection rates.
You didn't consider the details last time. You didn't demand to see a cost-benefit analysis.
We did. I mean,
no, you didn't.
We did consider the details.
No, you didn't. There was no cost-benefit analysis published. You couldn't have considered the details.
A cost-benefit analysis is the one piece of detail that you need now to vote on something. Do you not look at a wider basket of analysis?
That is the wider basket of analysis.